Another week of Eye of the Storm, a Guelph Storm podcast with myself, Ryan Drury, the voice of your Guelph Storm on Rogers TV. Very pleased to be joined by another one of the newer faces in Storm Nation and a guy that was a big addition at the trade deadline. He's finally healthy. He's in the lineup and he's making an impact. Josh Avery. Josh, how are you, man?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
So you've had a pretty interesting OHL season. Obviously, you've been traded twice. Obviously, you got flipped from Brantford, spent some time in Brampton, and then get acquired by the Storm right at the deadline. Obviously, an interesting year for any player. But tell us a little bit about what it's kind of been like for you. A whirlwind, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a roller coaster. You never expect to get traded twice in a season. But yeah, like I had a played a few games in Brantford and then was traded to Brampton. Brampton was great guys there, great people, and then was lucky enough to get traded to Guelph right at the deadline. So making a push for obviously next year's Memorial Cup, which is exciting. But I think we're gonna scare some teams this year and go on a long playoff run. So yeah, it's been a bit of a whirlwind this season, but I'm glad I'm back healthy and settled in. And obviously, Guelph has an amazing organization, and I'm glad to be part of it.
Obviously, before we kind of dive into your hockey history and growing up and getting to, play the game at a youth level, I'm sure that part of the excitement of getting traded to Guelph was getting to hook up with your old buddy Wil McFadden, who you guys have, a long history together. What was that like finding out you were coming to Guelph and that you're going to get to hook up with your old U16 Peterborough Petes teammate?
Yeah, it was special. Me and Will played together in minor hockey for a while, so yeah, it was obviously cool to get traded to the same team as him, and then obviously I knew Babin and Gallagher too from Brantford, so knew a couple of faces coming in, which always makes it easier. But everyone else has been super welcoming, and yeah, really appreciative of that.
What do you make of Will playing defense? What do you think of him as a blue liner that he's had to kind of jump back there a couple different times this year? What's your take on him as a defenseman?
Yeah, from what I've seen so far, he's doing pretty solid. Obviously, I've seen him more as a forward through my career, but he's a good defenseman back there, and we trust him with the puck. So yeah, he's doing well.
Let's talk a little bit about your hockey history. Obviously, born in Cavan, Ontario, and take us back to like when you were a little kid. The place you're from, growing up, what it was like hockey wise, and your early memories of falling in love with the game.
Yeah, so I'm actually from Uxbridge, Ontario. Grew up there. Currently still live there. Yeah, I mean, every 5-year-old kid, they sign up for Timbits hockey, and I was no different. Just played the game with my buddies, and my dad was the coach growing up. Just played A hockey in a small town called Uxbridge with the Uxbridge Stars. Played there for a few years. Then we amalgamated with Port Perry to combine for a double A team. That's when I first played against Will. He played in Peterborough. It's kind of where we started the rivalry, and then we got to join together, played together in Cow. Mike Ferrugia was our coach there, and then played there for 2 seasons. Then COVID happened, which was unfortunate, but after that went to Peterborough with a lot of the Cow guys actually, and played U15, U16 season there, and yeah, we had a pretty cool run. Obviously winning the OMHAs, and me and Will obviously, yeah, now being on the same team in Guelph, it's kind of full circle moment, but. Yeah, I mean, growing up as a kid in a small town, AAA was the big step. I got lots of development playing younger, playing in an A organization. But I think that really helped me kind of appreciate jumping to every level and trying to dominate where I am first and then jump to the next level. So that was pretty cool. Playing double A was awesome. And obviously having your dad as a coach is fun. So, yeah, but it's been a long I feel I'm young, but it's been a kind of a long journey to get here, but it's glad it's worked out.
Yeah, well, it's certainly working out, and obviously Storm fans got a bit of a treat getting to see you finally get into the lineup. When you come over, you're hurt, you're out for a little while, which is never easy for any athlete to be out. But when you finally were able to get into the lineup and come in that wild back and forth game with the rival Kitchener Rangers, you had 2 points, you had two really nice assists. Everybody was excited about that. How did it feel to not only finally get into the lineup, but make that type of impact as well?
Yeah, obviously it's hard sitting out and kind of watching a new team. You want to try and learn the systems, and it's hard not playing, but you just cheer them on as much as you can and be a supporter. But then obviously getting the chance to be in the game was special against Kitchener too. So it was unfortunate we didn't pull away with the win, but I thought we had a good game, and it was a pretty cool experience for my first time playing in the Sleeman Center. Yeah, obviously great fans, great organization, and yeah, I'm looking forward to the stretch here we're gonna go put on, and yeah, it was special first game. And yeah, it was fun.
It was fun to watch you. It was great to finally see you out there and see some of the skills that you bring to the ice. You're clearly a really powerful skater. When did that start to become evident to you? Because as a kid, like it takes a special type of player to be able to make it to the Ontario Hockey League. It's the best junior league in the world, and you know that better than most. When did it start to kind of become apparent to you when you were a little younger that you were maybe a little different from some of the guys you were growing up with and maybe had some skills that other guys maybe didn't have?
I don't know, it's hard to say. Like you just kind of you take it year by year, right? Like I grew up in a small town. I played A hockey. Guys were playing higher level than me, but I kind of just always enjoyed playing with my friends. I think that's the most important thing. Obviously, you can have goals and dreams to get to higher aspirations of making the NHL one day or whatnot. But if you don't enjoy it, then that's not for you. But for me, I always just loved playing with my friends and in a small town. And then once you kind of develop, you realize, okay, I want to try and go farther in the sport. It's when you go to AAA. And then, yeah, I think really in my draft season for the OHL, I was like, okay, I can really turn some heads here. And obviously, ever since I was a little kid, I want to play in the NHL. But kind of that season was like, okay, like I'm as good as all these players. Let's try and make a run for it. So yeah, I'd say then.
It obviously worked out really well for you. And obviously, I want to ask you, your parents, obviously your dad coaching you. I mean, that's a really special thing to be able to experience. And, hockey players, family, such a huge part of your support system. Is there anybody else from your early playing days that you'd like to maybe give a shout out to that really helped you along your journey?
Yeah, obviously family is huge. I mean, they've been my backbone since day one. But yeah, all of my coaches growing up, super important role towards my development path. And um, I think me having a couple older role models, especially that has been through a smaller town and kind of been through the ropes before me, they really helped me out. A couple guys in mind, Ty Delandria, and Todd Winder, they both helped me a lot, kind of paved the path for me and try to help me out. And been really good friends with them for a while now. So I think having an older person like that to kind of look up to ask questions, lean on is huge. So yeah, thanks to them.
Obviously, you end up getting drafted by the Bulldogs organization. What was that experience like for you? Obviously, a big day for you and your family. What do you remember about that time and finding out that you were going to be an OHL player?
Yeah, it was special. Obviously, that whole year, it's a special year. U16, it's your draft year. The best teams across Ontario and whatnot, and we had a great team, which was special. And then draft day comes, and it's out of control, right? Like you can't really do anything about it. You're just kind of hoping your name gets called, and you don't know where you're going. So, it was special to hear my name on the Friday night, and one of my teammates, Ben Radley, right after me, got drafted to Brantford as well, which was special. So, yeah, I mean, obviously you want to get drafted as high as you can, but it's fun to go through the draft and see your peers go to different teams and kind of experience that with everybody. So, yeah, it was a fun time.
You had a fantastic season with the U16 Peterborough Petes, 63 points in the 35 regular season games that you played, and obviously getting to be on that team with a number of good players, including your current teammate in Wil McFadden. What was Will like back then? I mean, we had him on the podcast just a little bit ago, and he was sewering his billet brother Rylan Singh on here. Tell us, do you got any dirt on Will? What was Will like back then?
No, no dirt on him. He's a great guy. I mean, he always makes us laugh. He looks little. He's just a little kid. He just like I don't know. He's just a funny guy. Yeah, I've been with him for a while. I actually lived with him in grade 8, which is crazy too. But yeah, we've been through a lot together. No dirt on him though. So he's a great guy, and yeah, glad to be one of his better friends for sure.
I don't know if you saw his episode, but he came on here and claimed to me that Ryland Singh is poke check guy on NHL and he takes 13 tripping penalties a game. What's Will like at the game? I'm sure you guys probably played each other quite a bit back in the day. Is he good at the game or does he not have a leg to stand on here?
He's a pretty solid player. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a solid shell player from what I've seen and heard. So I'm
But
not
you beat him a few times though, yeah?
sure we could say that. He's a pretty solid
Okay.
player, but we can say that I beat him a few times if you like that.
Okay, there you go. I appreciate the honesty.
Yeah.
I want to ask you a little bit, obviously, about your rookie season. You get into a few games with the Bulldogs. You also played a little bit in the now GOHL with Hamilton. Tell us a little bit about what that was like for you, just in terms of your overall development. Obviously, now the Junior B Loop is an official development partner with the OHL. How important do you feel playing in Hamilton was in terms of getting your feet under you as a junior player?
Yeah, obviously it's a big step going from U16 to the OHL or to Junior B or whatever it may be. I think I was in a unique situation, obviously getting drafted with Brantford, and they kind of sent me down to Hamilton. Yeah, I got some good reps, which was nice, and kind of being able to be a part of the OHL team still and kind of watching their games and seeing their day-to-day routines, and then developing my game with Hamilton Kill TV is like yeah, it's obviously you want to be in the OHL in your 16-year-old year, but I think for me it was a good development season to kind of get ready for my draft season, which was last year. And yeah, it was a fun time. And but yeah, like I said, like you learn from the older guys. I remember even my first season, you watch Nick Lertis and Patrick Thomas just from the sidelines, but you really learn a lot from what they do day to day. And yeah, I really took that in that year for sure.
When you were growing up, obviously, I'm sure you watched a lot of NHL games, tried to kind of pick and choose different skills to try and, replicate. Were there any guys that you remember growing up where you really enjoyed watching them play and maybe tried to take a little bit out of their games?
Yeah, I mean, pretty I'd say a lot of players, but for me growing up Crosby was my kind of my hero. Pittsburgh Penguins fan, obviously winning cups. Seeing a couple games that he's been to, he's always been kind of the idol of mine. Um, everything he does, he's a complete player, and I think I really appreciate that. And I try and kind of replicate that in my game. Obviously, he's as a younger kid, he was more of an offensive player, but as he developed, he's turned into an unbelievable 200-foot player, and you saw parts of that in the Olympics. Obviously, playing a leadership role, obviously getting hurt, which was unfortunate, but yeah, I think he's a special player, and ever since I was a kid, I've looked up to him.
I think Sid might have the best backhander in NHL history. I mean, you look at great backhands. I think he'd be number one for me. Backhand Crosby. I mean, it's unbelievable what he's able to do out there. I have to ask you, with Sid being your guy, very regimented dude. Almost superstitious. Like he's got a
Yeah.
whole routine that he goes through every game. Would you count yourself among the superstitious hockey? Like, is there a routine you got to go through every game day?
I mean, I think every hockey player's got their certain routine. I'm nothing too special. There's not like an odd one out. Like I'd say I'm pretty normal as a hockey player and getting ready, prepared for the game. But yeah, you got certain little things that you kind of try and stick to before games. If you have a good game, you keep it, or you switch it up if you got a bad game or after a loss or something. So yeah, it just depends on the night.
So you're not as involved as Sid is then, because like I'm sure you've seen that whole documentary about him where he's got to eat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and then walk down a certain hallway in the pizza. Like he's got a whole thing he's got to do. It's
Yeah, I'm
it's
not quite
something.
I'm not quite on that level yet. No.
Okay, that's probably healthy, honestly. I feel like Sid's one of the only people that can put up with something like that. It's
Yeah.
interesting stuff, man. Do you have any teammates, that you've noticed over the years, maybe not even necessarily so far in Guelph, that you're like, what's up with that over there? Like, what's that guy doing?
Uh, I've never seen one of my buddies on Brantford, Nicholas Rosetto. He had a weird like warm-up routine with a red band. I don't know. He'd
Okay.
wrap it around his legs. It's like just like one long band, and he'd just do weird exercise with, which I've never seen before. So we give him some heat last year for it, but Other than that, nothing out of the ordinary, but that was one for me where I was a little awakened and I'm like, wow, I've never seen that before, but obviously it works for him. So
But I'm sure, as you've grown up over the years, you've looked at goaltenders on your team and thought, I don't know about that. What's
absolutely, yeah, goalies are a different breed for sure.
They absolutely are. And you've got two great young ones on the Storm. What's it like being able to practice with those guys, especially Jovo this year, who's just having an unbelievable season? What's it been like kind of being able to interact with those guys and working in practice to kind of help each other get better?
Yeah, they're great goaltenders, but great people. I mean, ever since I've been here, they've been super welcoming and yeah, obviously on the ice, they're special goalies. I mean, it's hard to beat them in practice. I can beat them though, so it's fun to push them and they push me, so it's a good time. But yeah, you try and pick things as a goalie or as a player, you try to see through goalies' eyes. You ask them certain questions and what they see, and yeah, you try and help each other out, which has been good. And yeah, it's been fun. They're both really good goalies, so anytime you get to shoot on them and pick their brain, it's always nice.
I got to ask you about your equipment. Every time I have a guy on for the first time, I like to get a little breakdown of what they're like equipment wise. Walk me through your skates, your stick, the pattern, why you use it, and how you kind of approach using your stick.
Yeah, skates, just normal Bauer Vapor, Hyper 2 Lite. All black, and then my sticks I'm pretty particular. Yeah, I like gear. I like sticks especially. So I've tried different things over the years. Right now, I've got just a P92 curve. It's kind of like my home curve. I kind of just always go back to that. It feels comfortable for me in different situations. So I've got that tactile grip, but I'm switching to just the corner tactile. I use 77 flex, normal lie, so pretty standard, but I'd say the grip's a little out of the ordinary. But yeah, I like trying different people's sticks, always try and tweak things or sometimes switch up the curve. It depends on what I'm feeling. But yeah, right now I've had the P92 for a little while, so I'm sticking with it.
In terms of the tape, are you real particular about the tape job, and are you a full toe guy, or do you leave a little bit at the front?
Yeah, I'm a full tape guy. I use thick white tape. Just depends on the game, to be honest, how far I want to go. Go toe to heel. And the knob's pretty similar. Go candy cane. So nothing too special. I mean, I think I get the candy cane from Crosby, to be honest. So maybe that's something why it started. But yeah, the tape job is pretty simple.
There you go. I like it. I want to ask you too about, obviously you come to a new team and there's a different routine just in terms of, like you said, the system, how guys play, practice, the game day routines, kind of getting used to the group. A big part of that is road trips. And obviously you've been able to experience a bit of that. Are you part of this card shark game that's in the back of the bus that I keep hearing about? Are you involved in this euchre league? Like, what's going on back there? Give me your
No,
thoughts on it.
well, yesterday was actually my first kind of road trip with the team that I played on. So
Yep.
I was not in the card shark game back there. I'm more of just
Okay.
a quiet guy on the road trip, listen to music. Depends how long it is, obviously, but a quicker trip to Oshawa like yesterday was. I'd say I'm just like kind of listen to music, eat my meal, and kind of just get prepared for it. But yeah, I know that there's a few guys back there that love their cards or whatnot, so poker and whatnot. So yeah, obviously on longer road trips, I'm sure I'll get back there and get the guys to go for sure.
Are you interested in like, are you good at any of the games like that you can kind of get in there and maybe steal a spot?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I like
Okay.
cards. Play with my family a lot, my billets, so it's a good time.
There you go. Okay, well, I'll check back in with you. I'm interested to hear if you can kind of crack into this euchre league because I hear a lot of guys saying they're the best at it. Then another guy says he's the best. I'm curious about what's going on back there.
Yeah,
You mentioned obviously listening to music. That's a big. I love music. Who doesn't? What are you listening to kind of relax on a road trip, and then what are you listening to kind of get yourself fired up for a game?
yeah. I mean, I'm not the DJ guy in the room, but for me, yeah, on the bus, that's a lot of country, to be honest. Right now, I'd say Sam Barber, Morgan Wallen are my favorite two, or most listened to right now. Um, And then before the game, the guys just got on any kind of rap, to be honest. But yeah, I'd say for me personally, going on a road trip or just relaxing, get some calm country music or some sing-alongs. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay, I'm not surprised by this because you're a small town guy like myself, grew up in a tiny town, makes sense. And I think you fit in here because I'm sure you've discovered it's a huge country room. These guys love their country music in the Guelph Storm Room.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a good time. We when we work out, we always got the country music on and stuff like that. So yeah, absolutely.
It's changed from when I was younger because like when I was younger, everybody had the Metallica on, metal music. Now
Yeah.
everybody's calmed down a little bit here. I don't know what to make of that.
Yeah, I don't know. That those music, the Metallica and stuff, it's occasional, but I'd say country's main for sure.
Well, you'll have to talk to your assistant coach Rob Davidson about that because I heard he has a very we'll call it eclectic playlist that's jumping all over the place. Scott Simmons told me that it was jumping from like Celine Dion into like Megadeth. I was like, okay,
Really?
that's interesting. Ask him about it for me. I want to get a
Yeah,
report on this.
will do.
Speaking of the coaching staff, obviously, you mentioned having to kind of learn a new system come in here. You got some guys that have had lengthy pro careers. Scott played overseas for a long time, was a really good player. And obviously, two of your coaches played in the NHL for a really long time. Your head coach won 2 Stanley Cups. What's that like for a forward like yourself, being able to kind of pick those guys' brains? Like Corey Stillman, he was a really, really skilled player and did an awful lot in his career, and so did the other two. What's that like having that wealth of knowledge on the bench for somebody like you, Josh?
Yeah, it's special. Obviously, having coaches that have been through where we've been, they've got to the next level. They know what it takes, and like I said, yeah, the systems and all that stuff, they know what they're doing. So we put their trust in them, and but yeah, it's super special to have the experience behind the bench to kind of lead us, and it's been great so far, and yeah, happy to be a part of it.
Just in terms of your own game, melding with these new teammates. Obviously, like we already mentioned, you picked up a pair of helpers in your first game against Kitchener. How critical was that for you? Do you think, finally, getting onto the ice? I know it's tough sitting out, but you get in, you pick up a few points. What's that been like for you, kind of getting off the ground running, if you will, with the Storm?
Yeah, it's good. Obviously, anytime you sit out for a long period of time, it's sometimes hard to jump right back into the swing of things. But I think the guys have been really good with me and being able to, show me where I'm going in certain plays, and it's been a comfortable transition. So, yeah, it's been good, and it was nice to get a couple points in the first game. But yeah, still looking for our first win here. So hopefully on Wednesday we can get to London and get 2 points.
People would love that. A win over the London Knights. That carries a lot of weight in Guelph. I'm sure it carries a lot of weight a lot of places.
Yeah.
I want to ask you too. When we talked with George Burnett at the deadline a little bit about you being acquired, one of the things that he talked about was how much chemistry you had with a guy like Wil McFadden on that really good power play that you guys had with that Pete's U16 team. It was something that he referenced a couple times actually in our chat with him, like the chemistry, the power play that you guys ran. As a forward, when you're out there on the power play, the game has become so coached that it's all about systems. When you're out there on the power play, what are you specifically looking to do in terms of opening up space and creating chances?
I think it's very play dependent. Depends on the situation, and depends kind of where you are on the power play. But I'd say like yesterday, yeah, it also depends on what team you're playing, right? Like every team has different PK structure, but you got one more guy than them, so you try and find different holes and be able to move the puck around, but also move your body to create space. And once you do that, there's usually an opening somewhere that you could get a quick shot off or sell a play and draw a guy into you and then pass to someone else. It's just all about puck movement and yeah, we got different plays and stuff, which is nice. So but yeah, depends on the team, depends on the situation. It all varies.
Now, I want to ask you too, and you referenced this earlier. Obviously, part of the excitement coming over to Guelph is going to be next year, and obviously the team's going to be hosting the Memorial Cup tournament. For a guy like yourself, you've been able to get into some games now, home games in particular, and everybody talks about the atmosphere at the Sleeman Center. How special would it be to be able to be involved in that Memorial Cup tournament? And what have you enjoyed so far about being in the Royal City and playing for the Storm?
Yeah, it's super exciting. I mean, obviously we got to focus on this year first, go on a long playoff run, but next year's obviously it's going to be a fun time. So any chance you get to go to the Memorial Cup, you don't turn that down. So I think for me, when I look back at my hockey career, you don't want to kind of regret anything, and the Memorial Cup is something that you're gonna look back and create memories for a lifetime. So looking forward to it. But yeah, playing in Guelph so far, it's been special. Obviously, it's a neat town. Um, lots of diehard fans. It's fun to play in front of. So yeah, it's exciting, and next year's gonna be a fun year. But this year we're gonna go on a long playoff run, and it'll be good.
We like to hear that, man. Well, bigger than that, we love that you're out on the ice finally. You've impressed a lot of people so far. Keep it up. Stay healthy, obviously, and we really appreciate having you in the Royal City, man. We've been impressed so far. Thanks so much for doing this, eh?
Yeah, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
All right, everybody, remember you can find this podcast on the team website, YouTube, all your favorite podcast apps. And if you want to come down, and you should, and see Josh Avery and his Guelph Storm teammates as they push toward the playoffs, you can get tickets at the Sleeman Center box office and, of course, the Guelph Storm website. We'll be back next week with more Eye of the Storm.